Hello, Rocky. Rocky was just chewing on his toes, but I missed that. He stopped doing it when I turned on the camera. It was pretty cute, though. It was. Were you biting your toenails? Yeah, Rocky was biting his toenails. You're quite the cat, you know. You are. You're quite the cat. He's doing his morning ablutions, of course. Hello. Well, I just got into an interesting conversation. I think it underlies a problem that we're having in society these days. What I've noticed is that the tolerant people, the people that preach tolerance the loudest, are probably the most intolerant people in society right now. I mean, they claim that they have all this tolerance, but really they want all conversations to be one-sided. They only want their point of view to be out there. They talk about even jailing anybody who disagrees with them, for being hateful or whatever. If you disagree with them, you're automatically labeled hateful. Now, Canada, or my country, Canada here, has become a very woke, politically correct place. There's no room for Christian values here anymore. In fact, Christian pastors have gone to jail. They're trying to pass laws to ban the teachings of the Bible. There's all kinds of stuff going on here that's just insane. Everywhere you look, there's LGBTQ stuff, rainbow crosswalks and flags and parades happening and all the rest of it. I want to make it perfectly clear, I don't hate gay people, I don't hate trans people, I don't advocate for them to be destroyed or abused or beaten up or jailed or anything else. I mean, that sort of stuff, that stuff used to go on, and I actually actively spoke against it when it did. So, I mean, and I caught flack for that because it used to be the opposite to what it is now. It used to be the opposite extreme. And I got into a lot of trouble at times for speaking against abusive practices being directed at those people, Now I'm getting into trouble because I'm saying let's just put the brakes on this a little bit now. These people don't deserve to be abused for being who they are, but they also don't deserve to be the dominant force in society. And I'm troubled by a lot of the stuff I'm seeing happening in schools right now. A lot of things that are happening where children are concerned. I'm troubled by it. And anyway, I got into a conversation just a little while ago on Facebook over a post regarding a child-friendly drag show. That's not a thing. There is no such thing as a child-friendly drag show. I mean, let's just be realistic about it. That is not a thing. I mean, I'm sorry, but it isn't. And we can pretend all day long that it is, but it isn't. And basically, a man got on there and criticized it, openly said this is not good, this should not be happening. And then, of course, they all piled up on him. They're like a bunch of stinging insects. They just surround you and they buzz around you and they just keep stinging you, And I mean, they make false accusations. They told the guy that he was giving off creepy pedo vibes and everything else. So they were trying to make it sound like he was the pervert in the situation, which there was no indication that he was, But not from his comments, at least. I don't know the guy. I don't know who he is in real life, but there was no indication of anything like that I picked up in his comments. He was simply saying it's inappropriate. any sort of a drag show for children is inappropriate. I agreed with him. Well, anyway, he accused the people who were going after him for saying that of gaslighting, which is what they were doing. Well, one of them posted the definition of gaslighting in order to prove that she wasn't gaslighting, but the definition actually described exactly what her and the others were doing. So I responded to it by saying, well, according to the definition you posted, you are in fact gaslighting. So then I got a response back. The conversation was hours ago. It's inappropriate for you to respond now. Drop it. That's what I got. And so I responded. It's still up on Facebook. It doesn't go away. I responded to it when I saw it, which again is perfectly fine for me to do. And, again, you posted the definition of gaslighting to prove you weren't gaslighting, but it actually proves that you were gaslighting. And that's why I responded to it. I said I couldn't respond to it before I saw it. So, So again, she told me that I needed to shut up and that I needed to not be responding and not participating in the conversation because, as far as she's concerned, the conversation is over. I told her that was fair enough. She could choose not to respond. If that was her right. But that she didn't have a right to tell me what I could do, and she doesn't control my mouth. She controls her mouth, not mine. And she doesn't get to tell me if I may respond, or when I may respond, or how I may respond. And that anything at all that any of us say on any issue on social media is open to be responded to at any time and in any way by anybody. Myself or her or anyone else for that matter. Anyway, she come back at me calling me an idiot and all that, saying, well, you tagged me. Well, yeah, I tagged her because I was responding to her comment. It automatically tagged her. And I was responding to her. But again, it's perfectly fine for me to do that. It's a public forum. The comments are still on there. I can respond to whatever I see whenever I see it. And basically what I told her was that people who are of her particular point of view have a tendency to basically say that those of us who disagree with them need to shut up. They want the conversation to be one-sided. And I said, it's not going to be a one-sided conversation. You're exposing children to things that children should not be exposed to. What adults do is what adults do. And if adults want to go to a drag show, I'm not going to object. It's not for me. It's not something I would go to. But I don't have a right to tell another adult what they may or may not do. So, you want to go to a drag show? Fill your boots. I'll even uphold you in your right to do it. If anybody dares to say that you don't have a right to do it. But you're an adult. So, you want to go to a drag show, go to a drag show. Whatever floats your boat, it's all good. But the bottom line is, don't bring your kids to a drag show. Even if there is some effort to make it more so supposedly family friendly or whatever, it's still a drag show. There's no such thing as an appropriate drag show. I mean, I wouldn't bring a child to a striptease club, even if there wasn't full nudity. Even if they said, well, it's a family-friendly striptease club or something, And the girls only strip down to their bikinis or whatever. They strip down to a bikini or to their bra and panties. They don't get completely nude. I still wouldn't bring a child to a place like that. And, because it would be inappropriate. There is no appropriate level of that when it comes to children. You let children be kids. Let them be children. And then when they grow up, if they want to go to drag shows or any other such thing, they have a right to do that if that's being put on and they want to go to it, you know. But no, as adults, we have a responsibility to shelter children from certain things. I mean, we don't, look, you just don't do that. That's all. It's just wrong. And that's what those of us who were speaking against it were talking about. We weren't hating on trans people. We weren't hating on homosexuals. We were merely pointing out that exposing children to certain things is wrong. That's all. I mean, for those of you who have children out there, you probably aren't going to graphically describe to them what occurred when they were conceived. You're probably not going to do that. And they don't need to know that, and you're probably not going to do that. I hope you're not going to do that anyway. Because there's an understanding that there are things that just aren't appropriate for children. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know in graphic detail everything that happened when they were conceived. And likewise, they don't need to be exposed to drag shows and drag time story hours and pride parades and all that stuff. They don't need to be exposed to that. If the adults want to go to these things, fair enough. Fair enough. And most of us wouldn't be commenting on these posts except for the fact that they're including children. And most of us cannot fathom why. Why the push to get the children involved in all these activities, all this drag and all, why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And where do we go from there? Okay, we get the children going to drag queen friggin' events. Are we going to take them down to the porn theater? Maybe we can take them to a live sex show at a whorehouse. I mean, where do you draw the line? I mean, because it just seems to be going further and further. You give an inch and they take a mile. You let them, you go along with one thing, and the next thing you know, they're pushing something even more extreme. Like I say, adults will do what adults do, and adults have a right to do what they do. And if you're growing up and you want to go to the drag queen story hour, I'll even uphold you in your right to do that. I don't want to go to it. Don't invite me, or if you do invite me, be prepared for me to say, no, that's not something I would be interested in. But if you want to go, and people say you shouldn't be allowed to go, I'll speak in your defense. I'll say, well, if they want to go, let them go. That's an adult. It's their business where they go and what they do. But again, children are a different thing. Children have to be protected from certain things. They have to be sheltered from certain things. It's not age appropriate. And, we're not talking Captain Kangaroo here. We're talking, men who are, dressing as women and who are, in many cases, they're dressing in a very freakish way. They're dressing in a way that most women would never dress. They're dressing in a way that most prostitutes on the street would never dress. And so, yeah, it's an issue. And judging by the pictures of the event, let's see if I can find it here. We'll bring it up. Yeah. There it is, right there. There it is. This is what they want the children to go and see. Right here. That's it right there. In the town of Kempville, which is it's a drive from here. It's about half an hour from here. And this is what they want to expose the kids to anyway. Yeah. You know, if you're an adult and you're into this, all the more power to you. I'm not directing my comments at you, but leave the kids at home. You know, leave the kids at home. They don't need to see that. If you're an adult and you like to go to the striptease parlor, again, I'll uphold you in that. Don't bring your kids. You know, I mean, whatever it is, don't bring your kids to these things. They don't need to see this. Well, why do we need to sexualize children? Like, it's just crazy. And these people, though, they're like, well, we're all tolerant and we believe, and oh yeah, you're not tolerant of Christians, though. And you're certainly not tolerant of anybody, regardless of whether they're a Christian or not, who might want to contribute to the conversation in a way that you don't want people to contribute to the conversation. That's the bottom line. Now, if I had said something in that woman's defense, if I had said, well, you know what, you're wrong, sir, she is not gaslighting, and she is right, you do give off a creepy pedophile vibe or whatever, I doubt she'd have responded to me the way she did. I doubt she'd have said, it's over, drop it. Basically, we're not talking about it anymore. I doubt she'd have done that then. It's purely because I said some things that she did not want to hear. Anyway, crazy world we're living in. Seems to be getting crazier by the second. Of course, we're here at Camp Crazy. But I'll tell you, here at Camp Crazy, we don't abide any of this exposing children to inappropriate things. We may be crazy, but we're not insane. So, there's a limit. There's a limit to our craziness here at Camp Crazy. If you want to come to Camp Crazy, bring your kids. They can watch Rocky sleep. They can come in here and they can watch Rocky sleep. They can do that here at Camp Crazy. I'll cook you all up some nice spaghetti with my homemade sauce. With the tomatoes and the garlic seasoning and the olive oil. You'll like it. It's good. And I won't wear a dress. And I won't put on a show. I won't do an erotic dance or anything else, You can watch Rocky sleep. You can maybe give him some treats if you want to. And you can have some nice spaghetti with sauce. With nice homemade tomato sauce. But there'll be no drag queen story hour here. So, because we're crazy, but we're not insane. All right, we'll talk to you later.